Hello everyone, my name is Andres Vettori. I am engineering manager at Lagash, and today I'm going to present an introduction to Microsoft Bot framework. So first, a little bit about us. We have been in business for the last 15 years. We have 7 different offices in 7 different countries in Latin America and the US. We are more than 300 professionals working mainly in custom software development with main focus on innovation, web, cloud, and mobile platforms. So a little about myself. I am a corporate architect, and right now fulfilling the position of engineering manager. That's mainly focused on quality and best practices about engineering and software craftsmanship in general. But I am highly technical and with a lot of experience about web, cloud, and architecture of mission critical and complex solutions. You can reach me at my LinkedIn, blog, or Twitter. So if you have any questions, please reach out. So what is a bot? I wanted to give you a high-level introduction of what's a bot. So really, it is just a program. It's nothing else. But this program has certain particularities, like it allow you, a person, or another agent, another bot, to communicate with this program using conversational platform. See, like you talk to these intelligent agents by text or by speech, and then the agent respond to the commands or the conversation that is occurring. So that's pretty much the general idea. So a program that allows you to interact in a more natural way than the keyboard. So think about a concierge or an assistant that is there to help you. So you talk to this thing and it responds and make you questions and allow you to talk to it in a natural language. So you don't have to learn special commands or syntax or anything. You just talk to it and it responds. If it doesn't understand anything, it will tell you, and hopefully it helps you to achieve what you want. So in general, it can communicate using text, audio, and video might be added as a way to improve the experience, but it's not really adding too much to the communication itself. In general, these agents are going to be focused on specific tasks and capabilities. We're not talking about yet about an agent like a super intelligent AI that knows everything. So we're not there yet. And mostly we're talking about agents that are going to be talking to external systems to do their real job. Like if you have an agent that allows you to schedule an appointment, that agent is going to be talking to the messaging and the calendaring system that you want to be scheduled your meeting, and the agent will communicate through a set of APIs to that external system and do the work for you. So In this particular talk, we're going to show what's the Microsoft Bot framework. That's one particular framework to implement these agents. So this platform allows you to build pretty much easily intelligent agents using a set of services and APIs that Microsoft provides from Azure, and allowing you to very rapidly build and reuse these agents to be used in a multi-mode and multi-way, multi-channel capabilities. Like you can use Skype, use SMS, web chat, and any major web chat platform messaging is going to be included and supported, and it's of course extensible. So to get started, you should go to the main portal of the bot framework. The address is botframework.com. So if you go there, are going to be redirecting to this address, like dev.botframework.com. So that's a valid address too. So this is the main entry point for everything else that you should use and need to know to build your first bot framework. So if you go to the documentation, there is a lot there, and the first thing you probably should do is to choose what's the platform you want to use. I want to make a comment here because all the code that support the bot framework and all the connectors that we're going to talk about a little later are all open source. Everything is hosted on GitHub, and you can just download the source code or use the binaries and start using NuGet packages right in your projects without worrying the source code, or you can download the source code and make changes and even contribute to the community. So the platform is mainly composed with about the connector. So a connector is a piece of software that connects your bot application with different channels, different implementations of chat or web chat or communication channels, like Facebook Messenger, Slack, Skype, or TextMS through Twilio, for example. And you can create your own, and of course the community is actively developing more of this. Then you have the bot builder SDK. That's the actual thing you use to build your bot and to interact with the APIs that support the platform. And right now there are two different versions of the framework. One based on Node.js. Everything is web-based there, and then using JavaScript. And another one is C# and ASP.NET MVC API based. So you can choose which one to use. And of course, the platform is going to provide a bot directory. This directory is a place to find and register new bots. So in general, public people are going to be browsing this directory to find the bot that's able to do what they want, and referencing that bot from their favorite chat tool, like Slack or Skype or wherever. So that's pretty much the platform. So when we talk about the channels, right now this is the list that is currently supported. You have an email channel that allows you to send and receive messages by email, GroupMe, Skype, Slack, SMS through Twilio, Telegram, Facebook, Messenger, and web chat. So web chat is just a simple web chat control that you embed anywhere, and of course Microsoft provides you a version ready to use for that as well. So when you create a bot for the first time, as we're going to see later, this is the page, the configuration page that you have. So you see some details in the upper left hand of the page. On the bottom left part of the page, you have a test functionality. Then you can press the test button and see if your bot is reachable by the bot platform, and it's going to be working. And then you can configure different channels that your bot is going to support. By default, when you create a new one, you have Skype and web chat already added and supported, and you can add more just pressing the add link here and configuring the integration with that platform, like Facebook or GroupMe or Kik, anything else. So both versions of the Bot Builder SDKs support the same functionality, and that functionality is growing very rapidly. For example, you have a way of defining dialogues that allows you to capture information from the user in a more effective way. For example, if you are building a bot that supports ordering a pizza, you can just receive the order for the pizza and the ingredients in a conversational way. Or if you, for example, you say the bot, just I want to order a pizza, and the bot could ask you to describe what your pizza looks like, or maybe it's easier for the user just to be presented with a form of options, and the user just click on the option they want, and it's a much easier interaction and not cumbersome or complicated as a conversational interaction. So in particular, I'm going to show a couple of samples here, and the sample I have put together is using C# because it's the tools and the language that I want, I know, I love, so I go for the C# version of the SDK. But the Node.js and the C# frameworks are exactly the same, and they support exact same functionality, so choose the one you're most comfortable with. In the samples that I'm going to show, we have functionality showing integration with Louise. That's the language understanding framework that Microsoft provides as part of the cognitive services suite in Azure, as a way to show how a bot can integrate with different services to improve the experience of the user and make the conversation more intelligent and more fluid. As I said, everything is published in GitHub, so it's all open source, the bot framework and the connectors and the SDKs. So everything is there, and you can even download them, compile them, and hopefully contribute to the community. So in this particular sample that I'm going to show later, I'm going to talk about this, the language understanding intelligent service. This language is one of the cognitive services that Microsoft provides. One is, for example, to parse and describe images. Another service allows you to have semantic understanding of sentences, and another allows you to interact with Bing, mapping of entities, for example, and all based on heavily trained machine learning models and pre-existing configurations, for example, used by Cortana for language understanding. So they are very easy to use, and it should be good to leverage them. So how this bot framework platform works. So in this particular sample, we have our bot here, represented by this green square, and we have hosted our application in Azure, but you can host your application in any publicly available website that is accessible on the web. So because it is convenient for me, I have used Azure, but you can use anything you want. This website interacts with the bot framework platform that's represented by this blue square here, with the icon of the bot, and then this bot framework platform is the one that interacts with the different chat or channels platforms like Facebook, Slack, or Telegram, anything else. So all these green arrows are all secure communications, and encrypted and using authorization. So it's from day one. It's designed to be secure and very safe. So right now the bot directory is under construction. Is currently available to developers, but not for the public audience yet. But you can get there. You can enter the directory. You can publish your bot, and you can search for different bots, and hopefully you can find the one you want and add it to the messaging platform that you use, Skype or Slack or anything else, and start using it, as I'm going to show later. So it is demo time. So what I'm going to show here is a very simple way to get started. So using Visual Studio, I'm going to create a new bot application, and in order to do that, what I have to do is to read the documentation. So I am here watching at the Getting Started page of the documentation of the bot framework website. And if you just follow the steps here in this documentation, and that is exactly what I did, you can just create a new bot application that is working, a simple echo bot that just responds back the same thing that you have sent to it, but it's a very easy to understand starting point. So what you have to do is to have Visual Studio, the full version or the community free version works pretty much the same. If you don't have Visual Studio 2015, you can download it from www.visualstudio.com and install all the latest updates as always, and then you can download this bot application template from this link here. So if you click here, this is going to download a zip file. See, you see here that my browser is downloading the bot application.zip. So this is the template that Visual Studio is going to use to create a new bot application that is not there by default, but we can easily add it. So if you take that zip, you should copy that zip to the user profile, documents, Visual Studio 2015 templates, project templates, Visual C# folder. That's a mouthful. And if you just drop the zip file there, the zip file is going to be available to create a new bot framework platform sample application. So okay, so we have Visual Studio here, and if we have downloaded and copied the zip file onto that folder, when we create a new project, we're going to see a new template that is right here. So in the Visual C#, that's the folder that we added the template, we have this new bot application template. So if we just click there, a new bot application sample that is fully functional is going to be created. So the exact same thing that we have is this one. So this is just a plain standard web API project with a bunch of NuGet reference from different packages that the project is using, like bot builder and all the security and authentication reference, identity model, and Java script web tokens, libraries from identity model, and all that stuff. So with that, if you see the actual code of the application, that is very simple, and it is here in this message controller. That's a web API controller. So what we have here is that we have a post action that receives an activity, and the activity of the type message. We have different types of activities here. For example, if you see the definition, we have that a person is typing or ping or delete user data. So we have different actions that the framework, the bot platform, is going to inform us the bot that the other person is doing. So in this case, the only thing we care about is the message, and all the other stuff is going to be handled by this handle system message. That is pretty much a standard behavior for all bots. So if you add user data, you delete user data, or you are typing, or you are pinging, or updating your contact information, you can do different things. And in this case, if we are receiving a message, the only thing is we are responding with you sent wherever you type, which was as many characters length you have typed into the bot. So, and you reply to that, and it's all using async extensively here to give the bots the maximum performance and scalability maybe. So this is the most basic bot that you can have. And if we run it and we have Skype here, for example, you have your EchoBot here, and you can just interact with this bot and type something like hello webinar, and the bot is going to respond with the exact same text that we see that is configured in the code. So you sent hello webinar, which was 13 characters. So this is what the bot is. We saw in the code is answering. So how do we add these bots to Skype? We do that through the configuration page that I'm going to show now. So if we want to see a little more complex bot, we can, for example, let's see, we can use another sample that we have put together, and this is also a very simple agent that the only thing different that it does is communicate with the LUIS application, language understanding intelligent services. And what this does is try to give more context information to what the user has typed in order to delegate the parsing of the text to the language understanding services, to the LUIS services. So you see, this is the code from this new bot agent. So in here we receive the message, pretty much the same as in the EchoBot, and the only thing we do here is using this LUIS stock client. This is a very simple class that just communicate with the LUIS services using a REST API and send the text that you have typed, and that service, that LUIS service, is going to try to determine if whatever you have text here is a repeat last stock sentence or a give me a stock price sentence. In the case that is give me a stock price or obtain a stock price, is going to try to extract the entity name of whatever you have typed and then get the stock for that entity, so that string. So this get stock method, what it does is just using a simple wrapper to a Yahoo API to obtain a stock ticker price, and that's what this bot does. And the cool thing is that we're not parsing any text here. We're not trying to determine if the person have typed this word or that word or this word followed by that, and what's the intent of the user is determined by this intelligent using artificial intelligent models by LUIS. So if we run this, we first have to, for example, install and configure this bot. So how do we make it work? You go to the portal, go to my bots, and there you see I have registered this two bots. The My Echo bot, that's the one you see, you saw working, and the stock Louis agent that I'm showing now. So how do you register a new bot? You just go to the register bot link here. Then you are provided automatically a random icon, but you can of course upload your own. Then you can just put a name for the bot, my stock bot webinar, and put a handle. You can repeat saying that, put a description, a configuration URL. So this is where your application, your MVC or Node.js application is accessible from the web. So in this particular case, for example, we have HTTPS because everything is secure, as we mentioned earlier. And for example, we can put the name of the URL. I have put together Azure websites.net.api.messages. This is the endpoint for all the bot framework agents. That's always the same URL slash API messages for a web API application, or it can be just messages for a Node.js application. And this point is where you have to create and configure a Microsoft application ID and password to be able to authenticate the endpoint when you call into the bot framework platform, and when the platform calls into your bot. So to make sure that you receive calls from just a valid authenticated caller using these credentials. And if you don't have one, just click there and you can create a new one very easily. So you go there, you just put generate password to continue, and you have created just a new application. You have to take note of this password. This is the first and only time that this password is going to be shown to you, so be sure to take note of that. Click OK, finish, and go back to the bot framework. Just close it, and the Microsoft App IDs are really loaded there. So all the other things you can complete whatever you want. There are a few of non-optional things that you have to complete, like the privacy statement, terms of use, so you have to complete all that. And that's it. So you're pretty much done. You have to agree on the privacy terms of the bot framework. You can click register, and with that information, click OK. So you can test your bot here. In this case, it's not going to work because I have just put together an invalid URL. And if you want, you can click this Add to Skype button to add this button to Skype or any other of the channels they have configured. You can add here this channel to support Telegram or Twilio by SMS or Facebook Messenger. So that's how you add this particular web chat bot to Skype, adding this Add to Skype button. If you do that, you automatically have to log in this page. I am already connected to Skype, so it doesn't ask me for credentials, and you sign in and you add this particular bot to your Skype client. So in this case, it's going to appear here in my contact list. So if we go here, you see I have been playing with this, and whatever you type, for example, give me the stock for MSFT. So, and I get the Microsoft stock price, that is 56.58, and you can type whatever you want, and the bot is going to try to figure out what you're asking. Do you have stock for MSFT? And there you have it, and you can pretty much type whatever you want, and the Lewis agent is going to try to parse this text and assign statistically what's the meaning of what are you trying to do, and then get back to your application with the awaited intent of what the user is trying to do. And we have declared two different intents for this Lewis application. If you're going to here, I'm going to show you that the Lewis part of the configuration is really simple, and I did this Lewis application in about 10 minutes. So I have this stock quote. I have defined 3 intents and 1 entity. So if we're going to edit, I have defined a stock symbol entity, that the thing that Lewis is going to try to detect and get back to me, like MSFT, for example. And we have defined 3 intents. None, that's the bucket where everything goes, where the service does not know what to do. Repeat, last stock, and the stock price, that's the one that is interesting. So when we say stock price, we're saying, okay, this action, this intent is attached with the entity, that the stock symbol. So we're going to say that we have that configuration. So this is how we train it. So we see here all the questions or requests that we have received, and see that in yellow is highlighted the stock symbol that the Lewis services is detecting for us. So this is what is going to be returning as a result of that phrase. And we of course can allow the intelligent service to suggest new utterances, new phrases to enrich the model. And of course we can just manually add new different utterances or variances of phrases that we want to support. So here, for example, we type please get me MSFT, and then we see that it's going to detect that it's trying to get, you're trying to get the stock price, and MSFT is correctly highlighted. So you can submit that, and it's going to add that utterance to the model. and you can train it because everything here is based on machine learning algorithms that need to be trained and produce a model that's what's make this work. So this is pretty much a sample of what you can do with bot framework. That this one using Luis to parse user input and get intelligence right away without pretty much no effort. So that's it. This is all I have to show, and I hope you enjoy the chat, and if you have any questions, please you can type them right now on the tool, and of course, if you see this offline or you have a question later, you can send them directly to dataflow at lagash.com. So thank you very much for attending this webinar, and again, I am Andres Vettori, Engineering Manager of Lagash, and have been a pleasure. Thank you very much.